Welcome everybody here in beautiful Berlin. It's a pleasure to be here and as well to have Stefan together with me here on stage. As already said, we would like to present to you in the next 30 minutes what we see as the ingredients for a seamless omnichannel experience. And what could be more compelling than presenting this in the name and as well in the words of a customer of us, Christ. At least the women, hopefully, under the Christmas tree know this jewelry, and the man because it hurts in the pocket. But let's hear this from Michael, who is CDO of Christ. What is his story about, and as well why he is not with me on stage.
Hello e-commerce Expo. Hi Julia, hi Stefan. I hope this year's Expo in beautiful Berlin is fun and has some great takeaways. Unfortunately, I'm not speaking to you live today, but I would like to take this opportunity to welcome you all to today's presentation. In the next few minutes, Julia and Stefan will give you some great Christ insights. My dear colleague and CEO, Stefan Hungeling, and I are not able to be here with you today because, as some of you might have heard, Christ is undergoing a major growth initiative right now. And today's topic of the presentation fits in very well with our merger with the Morelato Group. Because over the years, our goal hasn't changed. We want to be where our customers are. Christ relies on a really strong and personal brick and mortar experience as well as on flexible e-commerce. More than a decade ago, we started our journey to become a truly omnichannel champion together with our partners KPS and SAP. So now enjoy the presentation and see you all live next time.
So Stefan, can you give the audience and as well myself a bit more understanding how KPS come to this game and as well what made the Chris story best practice and as well a success story?
Yes, sure. But first, I have to show you a little slide about KPS because I think there might be some people in the audience who didn't know about. So now you had enough time to read it. I will not explain it to you. The most important thing is that we have more than 20 years experience with customer experience, with e-commerce, marketplaces, all the stuff around. And the story with Grist started, if you go one slide ahead, please, in 2010 when we implemented the first online shop for Grist based on Hybris that was acquired, I think, 3 years later by SAP. But the most challenging thing was in 2014-15 when we talked to Michael. He joined in 2014 Grist and took over the responsibility for the e-commerce part. And he asked me, how can we bring the stores much more together with the online shop? Because they had one problem. They have a lot of products that are really expensive. So you cannot bring in every single store all these products in silver, in gold, platinum, and you have these different ring sizes. And so we build up, based on high-risk order management system, the first omni-channel scenario, and it really works well, and it was the main driver for the growth of their omni-channel experience and omni-channel story. And I think, Julia, that the acquisition of Hybris was the starting point of your customer experience portfolio in the end.
Absolutely. So in 2013, SAP acquired Hybris, which is, let's say, the core of our entire omnichannel suite. And I hope that everybody brings SAP and customer experience together. And on the other hand, as well, with a clear understanding about the user interface.
So this is the latest customer relationship management system from Walldorf. It is super einfach to use and it has all the customer information in it. You just click here and you see it there. Easy as that. Welcome to 2022 and welcome to SAP Customer Experience. We bring all the tools for you to meet your clients on the right channel with the right content. Let me show you. SAP Customer Experience Reloaded.
So in case you really had still this old, ugly interface in mind, we have really a reason to talk, and we are here after the session, but as well at our booth. Talking about history, as said, under SAP and under the customer experience line of business, we are really proud to have more than 9,000 customers in 25 different industries. We are as well, to put the elephant in the room, known for being complex, expensive, and something for really huge customers. And I'm as well happy to, let's say, talk about the opposite. We are able, in less complexity situations, to bring our customers live in less than 6 months. And I know that as well KPS has reference customer in that space, for example, like Arsenal.
Yes, we brought Arsenal live, I think, in less than 5 months. And we won the Pinnacle Award for this. So it was not only bringing it live and then forget about it, so it was really successful. And yes, an amazing showcase we had.
On the other hand, we are as well proud about the recognitions in the market. Talking about 8 years in a row being named as the leader in digital commerce, or as one vendor who is capable to have B2B and B2C cases in one platform. We were able to grow 5 times over 5 years. Of course, on the other hand, to broaden the portfolio, but as well because we are recognized as the vendor who is capable to have an end-to-end platform in place and portfolio. But I mean, let's not talk about the history, focus on what is now and what we are faced with, right? So I mean, we all know the current situations and the market trends. And especially for us, it's important to make and enable the companies to deal with them. For example, we are all, since Corona, know the Amazon experience. You're sitting in a customer call and in parallel doing the easy to consume hyper-personalized shopping on your own. This is a fact. This is not only what we want to have as an experience in our personal life. This is just fluently going in what our B2B customers expect as well. Or let's talk about another situation. On the one hand, we are more granular and crystal towards the digital world. But what does this do with our data? The new generation is so, let's say, tangible on giving the data, which means it's getting more and more difficult to have the information at fingertips to make the personalized recommendation and personalized product positioning as it is, on the other hand, asked of the market. And last but not least, let's talk about the supply chain disruptions. So how can we ensure that the quality of our, let's say, customer experience and the order basement is given? Do we have right now the information on hand? We know it's somewhere in our organizations, but can we really use it? And this is exactly the reason why we at SAP are 100% committed to the so-called One Office strategy. What does this mean? We are convinced that the data available in the various silos in the organization are completely linked to the customer experience. I talked about supply chain, but as well order management, service quality. How can I have this as a glimpse in the front end where my customer experience is taking place? And we combine this in an intelligent and agile way to exactly enable you and provide you with both data to make this happen. Probably, I mean, SAP, as said, is a well-known company, and you heard over the last weeks some press information and some rumors CRM is dead after other competitors going out or vendors going out of the market. SAP is declining as well, the focus on customer experience. I hope as well with this one office approach and a clear focus to bring both worlds, which we are able to provide in one strategy, on top with a clear industry focus, it's 100% obvious that we are committed, and with more than 2,700 developers in that space, this is the way where we want to go. I'm convinced with your huge installed base, you had the same calls and discussion, what's going on. So what's KPS point of view?
Yes, maybe it's that because it's one office now and they bring it together, and we as KPS, we have also two departments. We run this big S4 implementations and the CX part, and looking at the portfolio, so we concentrate more on our projects and customers than talking about some rumors that are going around. And if you see on our portfolio that most of these domains, how we call it, are with SAP products. So they acquired Emarsys, they have Sales Service Cloud, Commerce Cloud, we have the Customer Data Platform, Customer Data Cloud, and we just went live last week with a project at our customer Globus where we combined the Customer Data Cloud with Emarsys marketing solution. It's one of the first go lives, and it fits, and it didn't fit from the very first beginning. But all the developers that are behind at SAP, they have really huge power to implement, to connect all the things. And all the other domains are on the price list of SAP with strong partners like NX Cloud, like Miracle in the marketplace system. And whenever it comes to a customer experience, it's not possible to focus only on one domain. You always have to combine these domains. And that's why we are part of the MEC Alliance since I think 3 or 4 years. One question, does anybody know the MEC Alliance or not? That's not so. MEC Alliance is in the end an alliance of suppliers, of system integrators that are running after one approach, is the composable architecture. It doesn't matter which system you have to combine it in a manner that it's flexible and performant. And you only get in this alliance if you have a product that's fitting to this approach. M is for microservice oriented, A is for API, C for cloud native, and H for headless. And these are the main, pillars where we run after. And we get in with a project that our customer L-Shop, it's the biggest electronic retailer in the northern countries. It's really huge. And we built up a system based off SAP Commerce, and nobody believed that we can do a composable architecture with SAP Commerce. But it's possible, and the people of L-Ship, they call it the performance beast, because during the Black Week, the Christmas shopping, they easily handle more than 1,000 orders in a minute, and they need it, and we can scale it much more. And that's why it's really important not only to bring these parts together, I think a lot of can do it, but to orchestrate it in a manner that you have the performance after it. Because bringing a content management system, a search engine, and all these parts together is not that easy to connect it via API. Think it over where you will bring a microservice in, so it's really hard to do it. And that's the same thing we do with Christ, if you go one slide ahead. That we started with this Omnichannel, and then you see we made a redesign, and in 2019 we had the first single page application to check out, and for the conversion rate it was really great because it grew tremendously. And after that it was really easy to bring in a new platform that's called Brinkmann and Lange. It's an old brand that was owned by Christ, or that is owned by Christ, where they sell these expensive watches. I don't have them, but they sell watches for more than 50,000 euro online because they reach a new target group. And in the same year, in 2019, they acquired Valmano, and Valmano is a brand for younger people. It's more fashion-like, it's cheaper, not that expensive like the Christ jewelries. And this was really a crucial point for us because Valmano was an online pure player in 8 countries that came into the Christ group, and they run on Magento. And so there was the question, okay, if this is a pure player, they have a lot of experience, maybe it should be better to run the whole Christ environment on this solution. And then something happened in 2020 during the Black Week and the Christmas season, and that's really the main season for Christ. The system broke down, and the sub-commerce-based system really made it easily without a problem. And then they made the decision that the whole environment will get over to Christ, the sub-commerce-based solution. And that was successful, and we bought it on 8 countries until, in the end, I think 5 months. And we are still working on it. We implemented Core Media as a CMS system. And since the 1st of February, Christ is part of the Morellato group. It was a kind of competitor in Italian and France, but they get together since 1 month now, and the Morellato group is very strong in the production part. They have high margins, much more than Christ. And on the other side, Christ is a leader in the online business. Together they became the European leader in jewelries. They have, I think, about 800 million turnover. And now we are negotiating if it makes sense to bring all the Morellato e-commerce systems on the Christ platform or not. And yes, I hope it will come to this because it makes absolutely sense. So we are discussing it, and we are discussing far more. It's about marketing, about customer data platform. So there are so many things to optimize there that this story will go on. And we just made a little evaluation, and it's quite easy to bring the whole Morellato group on the system without enlarging the cores and all the things. So it's quite a successor, and cross fingers that we'll get a much bigger e-commerce environment for Christ in future.
Absolutely. Stefan, looking into the entire architecture of Christ and Morellato now being a new family, what is the backend?
Yes, that's the backend at the Morellato is on an SAP ERP system. In Christ not, but Christ is negotiating to get another ERP system, and I'm quite sure in future it will be SAP. But at the moment it's not so. We are working since 13 years on a non-SAP environment with all these omnichannel scenarios, and it also fits. So it's not a need to have ERP from SAP in the back end, but it's also possible with other ERP systems.
Absolutely. It's great to have a successful reference customer in this combination, meaning front end from SAP and the back end with a third party. But on the other hand, having now Morellato as one stack, which probably, if we look into the priorities and decisions of comparable vendors based on an Oxford study, who made a research that 75% of decision makers will focus on increasing margins and profitability. And how is this linked to what we just discussed? So the question is, what hinders your, let's say, margin and your profitability? And Based on the timing, I don't want to go into the details of all those dimensions, and I'm convinced you as or your organization is quite aware. But what is obvious that the top line cannot work, and as well the decision making, by only focusing on growth in e-commerce. The topic where we are convinced is to have all those margin drivers in mind to have a profitable commerce in the future. And if you are just looking into the, let's say, topic of the technology, we are convinced, and as well Forrester, that by 2023, a third of digital business will abandon or restructure midstream projects that prove too complex to execute or maintain. And if you ask yourself what drives the complexity and as well the insecurity in let's say, huge transformation projects, it's quite obvious that the more loose ankles and silos you have, the higher risk it is. So why becoming a software company if this is not your core business? And I really hope that with the summary and the reference case of Christ, our future direction in regards our innovation and as well understanding about our ecosystem with a great partner like KPS, we gave you some thinking material with on the way home to ask yourself, how can technology help you achieve profitable revenue growth? I'd like to end up with a great summary of last night, where we got awarded with the first place in the Omnichannel e-commerce Germany Awards 2023 segment. And if you want to learn more about the Chris case, feel free to use the QR code for, as said, more information to download. We are here to have the last 4 minutes for Q&A and as well, of course, afterwards.
Thank you very much, first of all, Julia and Stefan, for presenting this this cooperation and omnichannel presentation. This was the first question here? Yeah, okay, please.
Hi, my name is Janina. I'm a bridge between fashion industry and the new emerging market related to disability. As you might know, there are more than 1 billion people worldwide living with disability, and they are on the web and they're buying on the web. The question is, are your solutions also accessible to people who are not seeing, to customers who are not seeing?
Can you, is our solution available,
Are
accessible
your
to?
solutions are available or are made with the focus also to the people for this new emerging market, people with disabilities? Or you don't think about it in the moment?
So let me phrase the question to ensure, because it's quite noisy. If our solution is as well available for groups with disability,
Are your solutions made with a focus on those people? There are more than 1 billion people worldwide. There are 15% of the world populations, also the customer who are buying online. Is it accessible, your technologies? What is about customer experience for those populations?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think also, if I understood correctly, like the topic of accessibility, if this is a focus in your development, is that correct? Like on Barrierefreiheit, I would. Like.
Yeah. So absolutely. Let's talk about accessibility in a global reach. I mean, SAP is globally nearly available in 90% of the countries. If we don't have restriction in regards to let's say work and law, and as well when it comes to the coverage of our omnichannel platform or commerce, we have with nearly every country the let's say the regulatory baselines to be present. If you take China or something like that.